Welcome to the Kiwi Orthotic Services ordering walkthrough for the advanced view. And today we'll be looking at placing a slightly more complex order from your Kiwi account from a fake patient. So go ahead and log in and select either a real patient or a fake patient to practice this with, and select Create New Order. Defaulted me to the advanced view. Make sure you're selected on that. Go ahead and place your general order information as appropriate with clinician location, expected fitting date, shoe gender and shoe size, height, and weight. Weight is especially the important one here, as that allows us to estimate the shell thickness for the Polypro Direct. Go ahead and click Next. You have an option for order quantity for the same design, and then we'll scroll down. You can see all the templates. Now, with the advanced view, all these templates really just give you a starting place. They will default the order form to what is in the specification for that order. So if we select a walking design, it's going to default to a 3/4 length Polypro Direct with no extrinsic EVA hindfoot stabilizer, full length neoprene, and then a Duracell bottom cover. However, you can take a walking design and through the advanced view, you can alter it until it is completely unrecognizable, if that is what you want. Now, keep in mind that the pictures that you're seeing on my screen here, those will have been updated hopefully by the time you are looking at this, as they are in the process right now. Refer to the catalog for the most updated specifications for the different templates. If I scroll down here after selecting walking, you'll see shell material options. So we start with the Polypro Direct, but I can change that to a subortholene or a graphite, other hard shells, or to a soft shell if I want a softer or firmer EVA, or the rigid plastizo design that we use for our running orthotics. We also have options for our direct milled EVA for the most accurate anatomical designs milled out of EVA directly. These are options for that type of orthotic. Support rating. So you can use the computer tabulation to pick a material thickness for the Polypro Direct based on flexibility ratings here, and then you can fine tune that up or down by 0.1 of a millimeter. If we were to select a different material such as XT graphite, we can select support rating, and you can see that that thickness doesn't come into play because graphite will be all the same thickness, but comes in 3 different rigidities from semi-flex to rigid. And if we were to select EVA, that support rating doesn't really come into play because the EVA will be a certain durometer or hardness, 55 being firmer than 35, and the rigidity instead will be dependent on the shape of the foot, the thickness of the EVA, and whether or not an arch fill is added. Let's go back to Polypro Direct, and we'll just hit a semi-flex for a comfortable 2.9 millimeter thickness, and we'll keep that shell length at 3/4 length. Shell profile determines the overall width and depth of the orthotic, specifically around the heel cup, and this will go from a standard sort of Schaefer design at 14 millimeters at the heel cup, and increasing 4 millimeters all the way up to UCBL at 28 millimeters. The Cobra design is typically only used for heel orthotics, or orthotics designed for heeled footwear, and has that specialized cutout. Posting instructions. This is to determine the different angles that you might want applied to the orthotic after it's been milled or pressed, and we can select that either in the hindfoot or forefoot at either varus or valgus. Make sure you do not select both of these, as that would not make sense. And if you do select an angle, make sure that you have at least selected one of these. If you select in either the hindfoot or the forefoot, you can leave it at intrinsic shell, which means that that angle will be, as much as possible, ground to the shell itself. Extrinsic means that we'll be adding an extra piece of EVA as a stabilizer, both to increase the width of the angle applied, and also to actually incorporate a higher degree of support. So, for instance, for we have a 2.9 millimeter shell. If you wanted to add a 3-degree Varus posting to that, it would be difficult to grind that into the shell as it's thinner than the actual thickness of the angle. So, not to get too complicated in it, we'd have to add some sort of extrinsic EVA to be able to accomplish that angle. Let's go over to next. Cast modifications. If you would like a higher arch to come out in the orthotic, you can hit minimum for the cast fill. If you would like a lower arch, you can hit maximum. For most orthotics, we are just hitting a standard cast fill, which allows a little bit of room for soft tissue expansion, but not a lot of excess. Most of our orthotics are done with a geometric processing, although if you have taken a very good, accurate cast of the foot or a very good, complete manual scan of the foot, and you would like the orthotic to come out with as exacting a shape as possible, you can select anatomical. Not recommended for most feet as it can come out with lumps and bumps that can be uncomfortable. Most orthotics are posted to calcaneal vertical. And please ask us if you would like to send us an order with as cast rests, unless you are quite familiar with that process. You'll see here our full list of additions and modifications, anywhere from heel lifts to heel wells, skies, arch fills, and all the rest of them. You will see some changes through to this list as updates are applied, specifically with regards to reverse Mortons. You'll see some updates in the coming months, so this will look a little different. Any specific questions on these additions or modifications, please let us know. And if you do add anything that is contradictory, we will be likely reaching back out to you for clarification. If we scroll down, in the backing section here, under covers, you'll see there's a picture of the foot with 4 zones, and this is where you can apply some extra padding or layers that are underneath the cover. So if you want a full extra layer of cushioning onto the foot, but say not as thick as the industrial model, maybe you just want a 1.5 millimeter layer of PPT or Poron underneath the cover, you can select all zones and put that in there. If I just wanted a 4-foot extension, maybe like in our old traditional model, running model, just a 3 millimeter piece of cork underneath the 4-foot, you can add that into that zone. Typically, we do not select just the toes as most of our shells are 3/4 length and it would be difficult to apply that. But if you wanted just a heel pad, this is where you'd add it, and so on and so forth. You can adjust the top cover material to be anything within our top cover list. And then the length, of course, can be adjusted, as well as what bottom cover, or if you'd prefer no bottom cover, select this and hit clear. Casting method lets us know if you're going to be sending in a physical cast, either a foam impression or a traditional slipper cast. Selecting this will just let us know that the cast is on its way, whether by courier or mail, and this order will hang out in limbo until that arrives. If you hit 3D laser scan, then hopefully at this point you will have already uploaded the scan file, and you'll go ahead and select to attach that now. If you do not attach these files, there is no other way for us to access them, and we'll be needing to reach out to you to find a way to retrieve that. You can, of course, if you have a scanner, but you prefer to take a foam or a slipper cast impression, you can take those physical casts and then scan it in and attach it in the same manner. And lastly, we have the notes to lab for any special requests, any specific instructions that do not apply anywhere else in the order form, or if you want to bring something to the Podorthic team's attention, or if you're sending in any other details through email or otherwise, please make a note of that here. And if there's any questions we had to follow up, then myself, Ben, or someone else on the team will be following up with you shortly. Okay. And if you have any other questions, please reach out to our team at tech@koslab.ca. That's tech@koslab.ca. So just hit finalize and submit. Thank you so much.